Hello everyone, welcome back to the Fetch Quest podcast where we talk about video games and more. I am your host Guy, joined by my fellow co-host Connor.
Hello! But, Guy, also, what the hell, man?
What's going on?
Dude, I'm looking at all the games releasing this year.
And?
Like, almost every single one of them are live service games. It's ridiculous.
Is that particularly a bad thing?
Oh my god, Wait, what do you mean? Of course it's a bad thing, Guy.
Well, not all live service games are bad per se. I mean, two examples off the top of my head. You have Helldivers 2, which released last year, and then we're also seeing Monster Hunter Wilds doing live service pretty well.
Well, I guess you're right. But still, dude, the crap like COD and freaking Concord and stuff are getting made.
Okay, you know what, that's fair. I can't even defend that. And that brings us in today's episode. Why is gaming transforming into a live service fest? What's the good? What's the bad with it? All talked about in today's video. Okay, so I've been wanting to talk about this for a while because I know live service has just been plaguing gaming for a while. We've mentioned it before in our last videos. I'm glad we're just like making a dedicated video to it because frankly, it can either be really fucking cool or really dog ass.
Yep. Live service games are a very mixed bag of stuff, and it's really bad because there are just so many of them being made, and when they're all constantly like either hit or miss, it's just really hard to get invested in them.
Yeah, but like before we get into it, I do think we should define what exactly a live service game is, which pretty much what it is, it's a game that is continuously like changing or adding new stuff to it. This like can be regular updates with new content. This could be like events that go on, like more DLCs come to a game, whatnot. Basically, what a live service game is like it is a game that is actively being changed by the developers in like new ways. So like some very popular live service games to be thought of right now, like you could say your Call of Duties, Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, etc. Those are like some of the more like popular options in terms of like live service games.
Yeah, they're when they really are done right, they could become the biggest games on the market, and that's like really the case with Rivals, Fortnite, stuff like that.
No, for sure. I mean, hell, we just had the very, very big success of Monster Hunter Wilds recently, which, yes, if you are questioning that, is actually a live service game because it is constantly getting updates with new events, and they are continuing to add more content to the game in the form of new monsters and more quests. So, yeah, that is just a live service game.
Believe it or not, just because it doesn't have a battle pass does not mean it's not a live service game.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's what this like video is gonna like really point out today. It's just like the good and the bad, and like why is gaming like kind of like just moving towards that. So like to start us off, I kind of want to talk about some like good and bad examples first. So like I mentioned it like literally a minute ago, Monster Hunter Wilds. That game is so fucking good. I think it's me and Connor's current game of the year right now. We've been playing a lot in the past like month and a half. It's great. It's so much fun. But like I like how it does its live service model of like the game itself is designed to be a single player game in the sense of like you can do the quest by yourself. Nothing is locked. Nothing in the game is locked to you from online multiplayer. But
Yeah.
the game gives you a lot of options to connect with friends and play with other hunters. In the most recent update, they just added a new area called the Grand Hub, which the entire thing of it is just an online hub for you to interact with other players in the same lobby as you. There's also a lot of ways to interact with other people, and not only that, but the game is going to be getting continuous updates throughout the year, and then eventually is going to get a DLC most likely next year, which will just add more content to the game. Even though the game, by design, is meant to be like kind of single player. You know what I mean? Even though it has all these elements to it, which I love. It's like a hybrid.
Yeah, it's a really cool take on the live service. I guess like format, and I think Monster Hunter does live service incredibly well. Um, Another good example I want to talk about is Marvel Rivals, um, which also I want to apologize because allergies be kicking my butt this
It's
past
spring, man.
week.
Don't worry.
Yeah, so if I sound like very nasally and stuff like that, that is why. But Rivals uh, is a 6v6 hero shooter, very much in the style of Overwatch, and it is very much a live service game. It has all the makings of like what people think of when they hear live service. Um, for example, has a battle pass, which almost every live service game has a battle pass. And I will say this: I think Rivals has one of the best battle pass systems on the market right now, because not only is it packed with a ton of content, you get very well designed and unique skins for the characters. You also get a emote spray nameplate, which are all very nice, but you also get a MVP animation from almost every skin besides what they deem as like just rare skins. But there's always so much content packed within them. There's always at least two legendary skins, and legendary skins are really good because they get their own like special intros when you select them, like select that skin, and they're always really well done. um as well as like they're just always have so much effort put into them. And so i'm I really like the Rivals battle pass system, because not only do they is it like very consumer friendly because it doesn't cost too much. You get a bunch of content out of it if you just play the game. um Sorry. um you also are able, when you complete the battle pass, you're able to trade the purple things you get, which you get an abundance of once you beat the battle pass. You're able to trade it for blue currency, and the more you trade and the more blue currency you have, and the more skins you can buy. So just like there's a huge double incentive to complete the battle pass, because you get all the content and the skins, but then you can also get more blue currency in order to get even more skins and cosmetics and stuff like that. And the best part is that even if you don't complete the battle pass when the season ends, that doesn't matter, because Rivals has a system where you're able to go back and complete previous battle passes if you did complete them the first time, which is so cool. Like that is
Nice,
one of
man. Yeah.
yeah, that's one of the best things that live service games do, or like that's one of the things that a lot more live service games need to do. Like Fortnite, for example. Fortnite has really good battle passes, but the biggest problem is that you are not able to go back and complete them. Do you know how sad it makes me that I'm never going to be able to go back and get a like classic like Peter Parker Spider-Man skin in Fortnite? Like that makes me so sad every time because I love Spider-Man. And like I'm so glad Rivals has taken and doing that with their battle pass system. I think it's great.
Yeah, no, like transitioning into that as well. It's like Fortnite also like their live service is also really good because like Rivals, they're constantly updating the new game, whether it's like new cosmetics or just new stuff they're adding. I really love the live service aspect of Fortnite though, because like they have like the idea of like, hey, we're going to make this game constantly changing, so that's always fresh, it's never stale, and they keep a consistent player base because of that. I will say though, obviously it's not perfect because you have the skins that are limited time. Like Connor said, they're changing that. Like I know you can have some I was about to say kids, some skins show up in the shop now, but like some of them are still going to be locked out forever, like Darth Vader, which is really unfortunate to see. But it's just that like I do love the idea of like the game is constantly changing, so like what you play here in 4 months from now is going to be completely different, and I think that's just so sick for a game of like its caliber and its like size.
Yeah. Yeah, and we love Fortnite. I just mentioned that there because that's a big complaint everyone has with Fortnite. But I do generally think Fortnite's got a really good battle pass and live service format. As guys said, they're constantly updating it with the battle pass. If you complete it and most of the bonus rewards, you're also able to just be able to continuously keep buying other battle passes and more stuff. It's very friendly that way. And I think it's uh besides the fact that you can't go back and get previous ones, I do think it's really good. And the other reason I think they don't do that is because obviously probably licensing stuff. Maybe I don't know how that works, but that's just what I think. But we wouldn't be making this video if every live service game is good. There are a lot of stinkers. For one, I mentioned it earlier, but Overwatch, specifically Overwatch 2. This game is a mess, and I'm not just saying that as someone who really likes Rivals. I'm saying this as someone who did try out Overwatch 2 for a bit. I think it's not a great live service game at all. Like, it has a bunch of problems. It has a very bad battle pass system because you don't get a lot of stuff and you have to work a lot for it. And if you don't buy it, it's just like it's a lot better than it used to be, because it used to be like in order to get the new heroes you had to buy the battle pass, and that is awful design. I will say that I do not understand why you would because that makes it literally pay to win, because if the new hero is really good, which has happened before, where characters who are really good were locked behind battle passes, and so it's like, oh well, I guess we have to buy this if we want to have any chance of winning games, which really sucks.
Shouts to the clip of the guy, he and his team losing, and because he didn't have the new hero, literally leaves the game, buys the battle pass, goes back into the game, plays the hero, and then wins.
Yes, no, I love that clip so much. It's so funny. Um, and that was the exact clip I was imagining when I was talking about that point, because it's such a good example of what we're talking about. It also just like, I don't know. I just think it also has like really iffy updates and balance patches and stuff like that. And it's also just like really I would say it has very anti-consumer stuff in it too, which I think Rivals, even though you do have to like buy the battle pass every time, like buy the currency for it because it doesn't like give you back, I still think it's better because not only does Rivals have a bunch of events where you can get free skins and free stuff, not only do you get a lot of free skins just in general, but it's just also like a much more friendly system and stuff like that. And again, I don't want to glaze Rivals, but in terms of like when it comes to just pure life serviceness, Rivals is definitely better in my opinion.
No, I get you. I get you. Um, Going off that, we mentioned like a lot of games, especially popular ones, and that kind of want to leads me into that once. Holy God, sorry. Um, I want to lead into the next point on that in the sense of like live service is kind of taken over like gaming in a sense. Like you really can't like play like any big multiplayer game nowadays, or even hell, even single player games without having any like sort of like without having any like live service elements. So like a good example, Street Fighter 6 nowadays has a battle pass for each season. Splatoon 3 has a battle pass. God, what else? Fucking Assassin's Creed of all things has a tab for like when you press on the options button, like going through your menus and shit like that, has a tab for like microtransactions and shit like that, and like stuff for like DLC, which is just insane. And games like that are constantly like being changed.
Yeah,
I
and
also
like just there's so many ones that are being developed. We had Concord a while ago, which we've talked about Concord enough on this channel, and I think it is one of the biggest examples of a live service game failing. You had Suicide Squad, which could have functioned perfectly fine as like an open world shooter game, that just had a select cast of characters, but they decided to throw in live service elements, which really made it bad, like suck. I mean, it was already pretty bad, but that specifically also really helped kill it. Um, and just a whole slew of stuff. Like there was that God of War thing, like that weren't they making a live service God of War game?
Oh god, yeah, and they canceled it. Jesus Christ, I can't believe that was actually in production.
Yeah, I feel bad for the people who are working on it since their stuff's never going to see the light of day. But at the same time, you cannot turn God of War into a live service game. I'm sorry, that is one of the very few franchises where I doubt it would ever work, at least from Sony.
There actually have been multiplayer like God of War modes before. I think it was on like the PSP, on like some of the PSP games. But like, no, just don't, please, come on, like, no. But like,
No,
the reason why I want to like discuss like why like live services, I want to say plaguing. I don't want to say plaguing because like that has like a negative connotation, and like having live service doesn't mean it's bad. You know what I mean?
yeah, as we said, there are multiple games that still come out that have good live service elements. It's just they are definitely like mm, I really can't think of other word besides plaguing, and I do agree that has a negative connotation to it, but I don't think there's a better descriptor than like plaguing the industry because they are everywhere and you cannot really escape them, no matter
Yeah,
where corner of the internet you go to.
but like the reason why this is because I mean developers just found out that like when you when you add more content to a game like over time, you allow yourself more opportunities to make money. And people like let's say like fighting games for example, Street Fighter 6, you add in a new skin for a character that people are really gravitating towards and they want to use it, you put a price tag on it, people will buy it. And
Yeah,
you can do that over time. So that's $60 plus whatever you added after the fact. Or DLC characters for fighting games. That's another great example. Fortnite with its battle pass system, have people pay for more V-Bucks so that they can participate in the battle pass and get the rewards off it. Stuff like that is like the main reason as to why people really want to include live service aspects into their games, because
it prints
why what's up?
it prints money.
It prints money and it farms more engagement.
Yeah, because the more uh like like if you're able to do it well, you'll be able to get just so much money and stuff from that. And it's also just more appealing to like I'll say like a casual audience because like me and Guy, I'd say we are very expansive sort of gamers. We play a lot of different stuff, a lot of things like that. But like your average average dude who just wants to chill and play like some Call of Duty or Fortnite after work, he's not going to sit down and play like a 70-hour RPG or something like that. He's going to play a game like Rivals or COD or whatever that is
Unless
just
you're a brewer.
true, which is going to constantly be getting updates, is constantly being able to get stuff that you can spend your hard-earned money on because you like the character, and you could just chill and play that while you're playing games and while you're just relaxing after work instead of sitting down and having to like fight a hard boss in like Dark Souls or something.
Yeah, exactly. And like, oh, I do also want to preface this. Live service does not mean you have to spend extra money. It's just that that's just an option that they like to do. Like example, Monster Hunter. You do not have to pay any extra money for their free title updates. Like it's literally in the name. They're called free title updates. I mean, you will have to pay like extra money for like the eventual DLC or like some cosmetic DLC, of course.
Yeah, but like
But
first of all, the cosmetic DLC it's never required, and the DLCs are usually like basically should be games on their own with how big they are.
yeah, no, it literally like I don't want to say triple, but like it more than doubles the content of the existing game, which is already insane.
Yeah, so I the best live service games are the ones where you can play perfectly fine and don't feel like you're missing out for free. Like, I think Rivals does that really well. Again, I don't want to glaze too hard, but just the amount of events and free stuff you can get. Um, Fortnite does that really well because, again, you don't need those cosmetics, and with how like a cheap those V-Bucks are and stuff like that, like, it's really easy to be able to get the V-Bucks for that. Helldivers 2 was a very good example of that, because like you didn't need to buy the battle passes at all and you would still get good stuff and be able to do really well. And I am sad what happened to Helldivers 2, because it was goated game, but Sony
It's
shot
still
it.
goated, but it just has like a stain on it.
Yeah, it's also just like, at least for me, I feel like it's dropped in popularity
Oh,
because
for
of
sure.
after Sony shot it in the foot.
No, it definitely did, but I still think that game has merit.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
something
no.
I was gonna
What's
say
up?
something. I was gonna say something. I think we should also talk about is like how the abundance of live service games is gonna be like really bad for the industry going forward.
Yeah, I do think that like that is going to be an issue going forward because like when you have a live service game, you can either take it two routes. It's either one, expand upon the content of the base game in a way that makes it more engaging for and have more stuff for players to do, or you have it go down the route of most of the content you add has paywalls, and like you put those paywalls down as an excuse for like, hey, this is the content you're getting, when in fact they're overpriced and they are not needed like whatsoever. That is a really big issue I have with like Call of Duty games, especially because like they don't they don't use live service in the sense of like building upon what's there or trying to make them better. They put in the game, put in like DLC cosmetics so that you spend more money on the game, and then 1 year later you're paying another $70 for basically the same thing when they could have like spent an extra 2 or 3 years to expand upon like the previous existing mechanics that the game already has. Because like I shit you not, some of like the earlier COD games and like even some that like in the late 2010s have really good mechanics and fun stuff in them that if given more time could have blossomed into something even better, but they were never given that chance, because how could they have that chance when here's the next big shiny toy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they the Call of Duty like series downfall needs to be studied for real, because they had some really good games.
Some of the greatest, like not only multiplayer games but like shooter games out there, like oh my god, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, holy shit, man.
Yeah, it was insane, and I really do. I never got to play those games, but I do feel bad for the fans who like grew up with those games and you have to see like the state that it's in now.
Yeah, it's really sad, and not only that, but like they'll mask like collaborations and like skins for those collaborations as content, and I always think that's a problem. I always think that's a problem.
Yeah, because like
Like you first.
yeah, but like with Call of Duty, and stuff like that, I think your point of like collabs don't count as content is valid. I think some games though can have it be counted as content though. Like stuff with like Fortnite, they have huge collaborations where you can, like stuff with Godzilla and Mortal Kombat recently, where you get cool Mortal Kombat items as well as the skins, as well as getting like super cool in-game events with like Godzilla and stuff like that. And COD has done that stuff before. In fact, they've had their own Godzilla collaboration, which was really like, at least for me, it seemed really cool. But I do understand your point, and I think a lot of games can mistake that sometimes.
Yeah, no, I do think like it is important to like know what exactly like what is content and what is just like a thing to take your money. I do hope for the future that like to fix like the live service issues, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's just that like developers unfortunately are just putting so many price tags behind their live service games, and like that is just that's just a money farm for them because it is a live service game. And those like that division of live service game in terms of like put a shit ton of like microtransactions in it, and like we keep adding stuff but it's not stuff that like really makes an impact, but it has price tags behind it.
But yeah, no. In terms of like collabs, I do think they can count as content, but I think we've gone to that point where we should go over closing thoughts. How about you?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. Um, so basically, in terms of like live service games, I think depending on how you do live service games, I think they can be either great or really shit. You have great examples out there like Helldivers 2, you have Monster Hunter out there, you have Rivals, which is making good changes. You have stuff like that, and Fortnite, they're making like really good changes to their game actively to engage the audience more. But you just have to remember what exactly it means to like be a bad live service game, and like what it means to be a good one. And I just think that like those are some really good examples, and also we've have our bad examples of like modern COD and whatnot of like bad live service. And it's just I think to fix the issue with live service in video games, because it's not really going away, is just developers need to realize what people really want in terms of like new content for their games as it comes out. They need to like realize that like people don't want to pay $40 for a skin. They want content that will engage them in new ways. I think that's like a big way to like help fix everything that's going on.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. And I'll keep mine quick too. Of like, I think when done right, live service games can be really good. I mean, some of my most played games are live service games, like Fortnite. I've got some decent hours in Rivals. I love Monster Hunter, um, and I think it's all there. They can be when done well and done with the consumer in mind. I think they can be really fun and really good games. But there are so many game live service games being made that only have the idea of money and profit in mind, and so they don't worry about the gameplay because they just think it's a live service game. People are going to pay and buy. That's what happened with Concord. That's what happened with Suicide Squad, and that's what's happened with a bunch of these other huge or like live service games, and they just like die really fast, and it sucks. Um, and I really, really hate how popular it's getting in the industry because I think it's just gonna continue the industrialization of the industry, and I hate that. Um, but that's really it. It's just live service games can be good, but they're becoming very industrialized, and it sucks. So I that's all I have to say. So I guess if that's all we have to talk about, then uh,
Yeah.
that like and subscribe button if you like this content, and comment what your favorite live service game is.
But yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode on live service games, and we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Bye bye!
Goodbye.